How do you think the offense did overall at BYU? Some good drives, some that stalled.
We started off um, really well. I thought I talked to them a lot about the environment, and I thought we handled that well. And there were moments where I think we did some positive things, but certainly not our best game. And I think we recognize that we can do better and need to do better. And we talked about on Monday when I met with them. I just showed them a handful of plays where we just need to do simple things better. And whether it was a route that was supposed to be run at a certain distance that actually wasn't, and that's why we weren't able to gain a completion on that play, or not getting out of the huddle fast enough and having the opportunity to get the ball snapped with plenty of time on the clock, or any number of things that were just some small things that kept us from being efficient in a number of situations. Against a really good defense, I'll give them credit. I thought they did a really good job.
At this point in the season, does it become harder to correct things like that, or are they so small that it's still possible for people to adjust?
Man, I hope it's not. I'm not answering the question the way he phrased it. My belief is that you can correct something and make an impact at any point in the season. And I've been around some coaches who might say, well, it's just, we're already at game 10 or game 11, and we'll have to fix that in the spring. No way. Or I've seen it with a certain player. Well, he's a senior, and that's just kind of how he's always done it, and he's going to probably keep doing that. And I just don't agree with that. If as long as a player is here, then it's my job to coach him and help him improve. And I can think of countless examples of guys who were in their senior years and made a lot of improvement and got better even well into that senior year. And so I think certainly the same is true for us as a group.
What kind of prep and attention goes into Jalen as a punter? Going back to spring, going back to fall camp, going back to not just Jalen, but that whole unit that's going to do that when it's called. I mean,
yeah, it's something that we practice every week, and not just once a week, more than once a week. And you just you never know when something's going to be needed. There are a number of different things like that in football. Like the 6-second play. When you have 6 seconds left on the clock at the end of the game, and you can't kneel it, so you've got to burn 6 seconds, and you got to have a way to manage that 6 seconds there. And we have that, and we practice it, and it'll probably never get called this whole year, but you better have it when you need it. And so yeah, it was that. Really, it's a credit to Jalen that he can do it. I've had that I've had that on other teams that I've been a part of, but the quarterback just wasn't quite good enough that the head coach really ever trusted him to do it. And so yeah, it's a credit to JD.
For you, when you look at Travis Hunter as a cornerback, what impresses you most about his just general skill set?
Well, first, it's just so impressive how hard he plays for a guy that plays as many plays as he does. I haven't seen anything like that probably since I coached high school football, and we had guys that played every snap both ways, But yeah, it's amazing to me that somebody would even think to do that, because it's so far beyond the realm of what we do now. I wonder if there are other people that are capable of doing it. We just don't ever think about it because that's not the way we do things traditionally. But super impressed with that, just his energy and competitiveness on every single down, in spite of the fact that he's playing the whole game. And then just, he's a pretty rare combination of all the things that you'd want in a corner. You take his size and his physicality and his hips and his speed and acceleration and ball skills. That's the way you would create one.
Jeff, what do you see from Shadur Sanders as a quarterback?
don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, what do you see from Colorado's defense?
Oh, yeah. Really aggressive brand of football in several different ways. Number one, just the way they call it, a lot of man coverage, and so a lot of opportunities where they put guys in one-on-one coverage. Aggressive in their approach to how their front plays. The defensive line is you're snapping the football and they're getting up the field and being disruptive, which is something I think probably not a lot of college defenses play like nowadays because of zone read and the option game and a number of things that show up in college. So it just has a different feel to the way the defensive line attacks the line of scrimmage. And then the linebackers, really physical, big guys that want to see contact. They're block hitters. They're not guys who are trying to avoid you. They're trying to come hit you in the face and put you back in the line of scrimmage. So very aggressive and certainly a challenge because they'll outnumber you in the run game by playing one high, whether it's cover one or cover three, so there's an extra guy in position to stop the run. But then a challenge to throw because they're so talented in the back end and they're leading the conference in sacks and I think, 6th or 8th or something like that in the country as well. They're really difficult to throw the ball against because of the tight coverage and because they can heat you up with a 4-man rush. They don't have to blitz.
Jeff, if LJ can't go, as Lincoln said he was questionable, just who do you look to at wide receiver?
Certainly Trevor Wilson would be the guy that get the lion's share of those reps, and he's been playing quite a bit anyway, and I think a couple weeks ago we talked about how much better he's gotten this season. I'm really impressed with that. And then, some of the other guys, like Doug, I'm trying to think who else, Doug. Because Torrey's been questionable for a while as well. Those two would probably be the two that would get most of those reps if he's not. But he's improving, and so I'm hopeful.
I think you've talked about him plenty collectively as sort of this veteran group and senior group, but what stands out to you about the season Luke Grimm's had and just the type of player he is and what he's brought to this offense?
Yeah, I said to a couple guys yesterday, just, he's that guy that sometimes you love and hate in the same day because he's so competitive. He wants the ball, he's really smart, sometimes thinks he knows better than anybody else, but that both his intelligence and competitive spirit are what make him who he is. And he's usually right. He usually is open when he says he's open. Some guys say that, they're really not open. He actually is. And the times when he's not, he's still, as you know, finds a way to make a play most of the time anyway. And so, he's so competitive. He just, he wants opportunities. And, I like that about him. I think that's what makes him who he is. And beyond that, just how much he's improved physically. I mean, Sleeve, has talked about his difference in strength and speed, and it shows up. So I really do appreciate that. He's become a better blocker too. In the past, he's not a guy that's been a great blocker, not with his size and that sort of thing, but he's really shown a desire to do that this year. And I think that shows his selfless attitude for the team.
You've got some older guys in your tight end room with Trevor Cardell and Jared Casey. Sort of, what's your process been like with those guys, and what have you seen from your seniors in that group?
Yeah, I put Tavita in there as well,
Yeah.
in terms of being another guy who's been playing this year and hasn't in the past, so obviously Jared's played quite a bit, Trevor limited, Tavita even more limited, but I think I would just say I'm proud of the progress that those guys have made. Guys who have been challenged because none of them have played as much as they wanted to play, and that's because I've had to try to use 4 different guys to fill the void that we lost with Mason, I think. And each of them has a different skill set, and they've allowed me to coach them in a way I think that allows them to maximize their abilities and create a room that can help contribute to our overall production. And in most cases, it doesn't show up in a big way on the stat line. And the fact that they've been willing to do a lot of the stuff that goes unnoticed, I think is a credit to their commitment to the team.
Anything else, Coach Grimes?
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.